something very important that I have to say is that you should not seek a divorce. If you're a Christian and you're married, you should not seek a divorce. You know, Jesus said that if a man or a woman divorces his wife and marries another, they commit adultery. If you divorce your wife, if someone divorces their wives, they force their partner to marry somebody else and commit adultery. We are not to marry divorced people. We are not to divorce if we're Christians. This is a command that comes from Jesus. There are exceptions. You know, 1 Corinthians 7 talks about how if an unbeliever departs and we're a believer, we're faithful to the gospel. If an unbeliever departs, the believing partner is not bound by the law of marriage in such circumstances. That believer, having married that unbeliever while they were still an unbeliever, because the command of the New Testament, the command of Jesus, is that we do not marry people who are unbelievers. If we become a believer after having married our partner and our unbeliever is upset with our newfound faith and they leave, we're not bound under such circumstances. Go ahead, get remarried. We're not bound to that old covenant. Jesus himself talked about how if a person has committed adultery, then the innocent party, the divorce is okay. The divorce is an unfortunate reality. It's an unfortunate necessity. See, the whole discussion goes back to Deuteronomy chapter 24, where Moses is speaking about divorce to the children of Israel, and he gave them permission to divorce under certain circumstances. The Pharisees abused that principle and falsely taught that divorce was acceptable in any and in all circumstances. That's not the case at all. Divorce, even in the times of Moses, was only supposed to be if there was something unclean about our partner. In my own life, my wife was married before she was married to me. Her husband ended up cheating on her, and there needed to be a divorce. And there was a divorce. It wasn't something my wife sought. It was something that he sought in order to play around with this bimbo. And, wow, completely tragic. Jesus talks about such circumstances as an exception. Divorce is okay, and where divorce is okay, of course, remarriage is going to be okay with the Lord, since God has made the first marriage null and void because of the adultery that was engaged in the first marriage. But the vast majority of the divorces that occur today in the Western world have little or nothing to do with the circumstances that are talked about by Jesus. The vast majority of the divorces that occur today, you know, I fight with my wife all the time. I don't love her anymore. It's like, we've grown apart. You know, the vast majority of the divorces that occur today are not something that should be biblically sanctioned. And divorce rate in California, in my home state, is at 75%. Nationwide in the United States of America, divorce rate's around 50%. Western world divorce rate is huge. I don't know the Western world number. I know that it's huge and climbing. The vast majority of these divorces should never have happened. And Christians need to take personal responsibility, need to take personal accountability for the divorce rates that are happening within our own community. The divorce rate among born-again, Bible-believing Christians is higher than the divorce rate among atheists. We need a revolution in the church where the divorce rate is no longer going to be so high. We need the church to wake up, to take responsibilities, to take love and affection for those that we bound by oath in front of Almighty God, that we would stay together forever with, to love and to cherish until death do us part. As Christians, we must not seek a divorce.